Okay, so welcome everyone to our July board meeting. I'm going to now call the Hollis Brookline Cooperative School Board July 15th meeting to order at 6 p.m. I am going to move ahead with the agenda. Do we have any agenda adjustments?
Nope.
Great. Do we have a consent agenda?
So it's just there in the agenda. You gave me authority
Right,
to hire
that's
and
what I
fire,
thought.
but we don't have any movement anyway.
Right, that's kind of what I was thinking.
So
When
we
you and
have
I went back and
Yeah,
forth today, I
I wasn't
kind of
sure.
thought about it like we probably don't need it because it'll
Yeah.
be in August. You'll give us like a full
Correct.
reporting out. Okay. So good morning, Tom, afternoon, Tom, whatever time of the day. Good morning, afternoon, evening, Tom. I'd like to actually go around and make some quick introductions. I forgot to do that. So why don't I start with that?
Oh, I'm interested. I wasn't sure if you were interested. Beth Williams, Brookline member.
Amy Kellner, a Hollis member.
Cindy Van Conant, Hollis member.
Cheetah Berkstock, superintendent.
Holly Durlow Babcock, Hollis member and chair.
Tom Solon, member from wherever you want.
You're from Brookline.
Am I?
That's okay. Right now you are.
Patrick West, middle school principal. Jacob Hess, principal at the high school.
Great, thank you. And we are missing Rob Mann and Kate Stoll. They have excused absences. Not that I do exclusion, but whatever. They are absent. Okay, so consent agenda is just kind of a placeholder. We don't have one tonight. And a process observer. Is there anyone who'd like to raise their hand for that?
Sure.
Thank you, Cindy. And then approval of minutes. So let me go to the outline for that. So I have, thank you. I'm all set. I got prepared for my outline printed out. Kind of funny. Okay. So I need to, we're going to look first at the special district meeting minutes from June 17th, 2026. And I need a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Beth. And I need a second.
Second.
By Amy. Okay. Any comments? All those in favor? 5-0, motion carries. Now I need we need to look at the Hollis Brookline Cooperative School Board minutes from June 17, 2026 with the following amendments. Page 2, line 46, the outcome of the vote should be listed as 7-0-0. Page 4, line 16, replace results with remarks. Page 4, line 39, replace he with she. Page 7, line 24, replace THEW with the. Page 7, line 48, insert it before is a. Page 11, line 7, replace earn with learn. Page 11, line 40, decision should be plural. And page 13, line 29, adult should be plural. So I need a motion to approve as amended.
So moved.
Moved by Beth,
Second.
second by Amy.
Which minutes are these?
These are the regular, our minutes from last month.
Does that include the whole area of public input and all that stuff? Or
They
was
were
it-
in there.
Okay.
Yep. I saw them in there, the public.
No, I
meeting.
thought there was, I wasn't sure if that was broken out as a special section.
There was a special district meeting that has one set of minutes that were attached to the agenda. The minutes from the regular board meeting.
Oh, is this the one I called in on?
No? Oh, I think you were at the June meeting.
There was one that I called.
That was May. We
Okay.
approved those last month.
Oh, okay.
It was the June meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So all those are there any other comments or questions? All those in favor? 5-0. Okay, can I just ask a question about this process? Is it necessary for me to read all those amendments every time?
Sort of, kind of, because if people are looking at the minutes as they were,
Okay.
have the draft minutes
They've been posted.
been posted? Yeah, then you want
Okay. All right.
to be on the
Just
record.
wondering.
Yeah,
Okay. It just feels
it's annoying.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, then we have the non-public minutes from June 17th, and I need a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Beth is making the motion. I need a second.
Second. Amy.
Amy. Any questions on those? All those in favor? 5-0-0, motion carries. And then we had a public hearing with, I don't think we had any public input in the public hearing, but we need a motion to approve the public hearing minutes of June 17th, 2026 as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Beth,
Second.
second by Amy. All those in favor? 5-0-0, motion carries. Okay, moving forward, we have public input scheduled for 6:10 at 6:05. So we are going to open the floor for public input and keep it open until 6:40. So that'll be half an hour past its posted opening time, but we'll open it now. And because I don't see any input out there, I'm not going to introduce it, but if someone shows up, I will. So I will open the floor for public input at 6:05 p.m. If someone out there in the board world will remind me at 6:40 to shut it down, that would be great because I will not remember. All right. Yes, sir.
So did we just vote on the
Consent agenda?
no, the special district
We
meeting?
did.
That was
That
the
was the
first
first
one.
one we did.
Oh, that was, okay.
We did that one
One
first.
you walk
We were a
in.
little out of order. Sorry. I mean, like, I think that probably, but we had made it that first.
I didn't make the connection between the description and the event.
Okay. All right. So moving on, we are going to open the principal's report. So we have an athletic board report and the coach handbook. So who's going to speak to that, gentlemen?
I've got the athletic update.
Great.
Summertime, but the still a lot of action with the athletic departments. Even though they're between seasons, they're ordering new equipment and uniforms for the years to come, interviewing potential candidates for coaching openings, and tightening up schedules for the upcoming school year. It also brings with it several team-run camps, including boys lacrosse, field hockey, and boys and girls soccer, each running camps for the Hollis and Brookline youth on the turf field, as well as boys and girls basketball and volleyball teams running their camps in the gym. Many of the teams have also been participating in skill building and pickup sessions since the school year started, and fall registrations are open for both schools on Arbiter Sports. The seasons and tryouts and practices will start at the high school level on August 14th for football, and then the 17th for the rest of the high school programs, and at the middle school level on the 3rd of September. Attached to the agenda tonight is the coach's handbook update. As they begin the new year, the athletic department, in conjunction with the SAU, has taken a deep dive into the coach's handbook, which is distributed yearly and updated accordingly. And it's attached there for your review prior to distribution. And there are a bunch of head coach openings, 2 at the middle school and about a dozen at the high school. So a lot of opportunities to get involved and help out with athletics.
There's 2 head coach openings at the high school. There's a lot of assistant coach.
Yes. Yeah.
Didn't want people to panic that we're missing 13
A lot
head
of
coaches.
coaching
Yeah.
in general.
Lots of opportunities.
Are there any questions or comments on the athletics board report? How about on the coaches handbook? So I have a comment on the coaches handbook. I'm going to pull it up, and I appreciate the deep dive. I think it's got all of the right philosophies. My only thing that I was reading through it is that when it says, when you go to page like 5 of the coaches handbook, and you have the title is Duties of the Coach. And the way it reads more like this is what the athletic director is supposed to do with the coach and go over with the coach. So it reads like that, more like what the duty of the athletic department is to teach the coach or show the coach. It's just the way it reads. So it's not a substance issue. It's more just like how it reads to me. That's just my take on it. It's just like some of it's okay, but some of it, if
I
you
see
go
what
through,
you're saying. So
like-
for instance, it says the duty to supervise should be shared with coaches, which implies that it's being done by someone other than a coach.
right. So it's just like there's a little bit of language in there that makes it seem like that's, so it's either retitle it to like the duties of the athletic department or director and his designee, or make it more consistent. And I don't think it's significant enough to have to revise for this year. I think it's understandable. I think the intent is there, but it's something to look at in the future.
Thanks.
So above the introduction of that says it's coming from the National Federation of High Schools and the NIAA. Did they provide the wording, do you know?
I think it was probably pulled. I think a lot of this document is pulled from other sources, so I think it's just a matter of retitling that. That's all.
But
It's
I'm just wondering if it's intended that it's that it is actually the athletic director, what we call the athletic director.
well, that's what I think it needs clarification. That would be the only thing that I would review with Brian is like, is this the duties of the coach or is this sort of your department's like expectations? And so I think if it is simply that could just simply be a title change in that section, because we do have sections that are very specific to coaches, like the code of ethics for the coach, the code of the attributes of a successful coach. It's just, I really honestly, I don't like to throw stuff like that out at a meeting. I really have seen this document before and wasn't really intending to dig into it. And I then started to read it today and I was like, oh, this doesn't read right for me. But
Yeah, so I'll take that feedback
Yeah.
back. I just wanted to add that included in the training beginning last year was an additional mandatory coach for training on how to work with adolescent athletes in a positive way. We've expanded that program moving into this school year to include student leaders and how to work effectively, whether you're a captain or not, on how to build camaraderie and how to develop leadership skills in a
That's great.
positive way to help with the teams.
great. So that's my feedback. Thank you, Gina. That's great because that's really important stuff.
So is the scope of this really beyond just coaches?
Of the document?
Well, the document does cover like the athlete's responsibilities. It has the interscholastic sports agreement. So yeah, there's more in that document than,
So maybe the
It
title
could-
of the document should also be reconsidered.
yeah, that's possible. We'll think about that as well. I think, yeah. Because it's, well, there's two documents actually. There's the coach's handbook and then there's
Our staff handbook includes a lot of sections from the student handbook, just so it's another spot where staff can access it. So
Right.
coaches within having the athletic stuff in there as well for the athletes. It
Right.
could just be
Oh.
a spot where they
Yeah, I mean,
have that at their
appendix.
grasp.
So
yeah.
this is
Right.
perhaps as a reference document for the coaches,
right.
but it encompasses more information.
Is there
Yeah,
is there a handbook for students? I know they have this. That's their athletic agreement. So
Yeah,
that's
so you have to sign off on this to
Right,
participate in
right.
sports. And I think it's included in
that
the
makes
coaches
sense.
so that they know what it is that the students agree.
I was thinking more going the other direction. Was this for higher level athletic administration as well?
Yeah.
But no, what Jake said frames it really well. Is it's important for a coach to know
Mhm.
not only their responsibilities
But
but
everything.
the overarching ones. So yeah, no,
There's
I
my
buy
feedback.
that framework.
Great. All right. Thank you. All right. Moving on to the middle school principals report, which would be, or are you first, Patrick? I'm sorry.
I can go first.
Oh,
Fine with me.
great.
ESY program kicked off July 7th, off to a great start. 28 students participating. In addition to our reading, writing, and math programming, Catherine Ransom continues to do a nice job of integrating social, emotional development, life skills, hands-on activities throughout the entire program. Our garden club also gets included in a lot of that programming, so students are still going down and checking on fruits and veggies that are growing. Thanks to Rick Hardy, who continues to help our greenhouse. The Rotary Club, I didn't include this, but the Rotary Club purchased a new fan, a new crank, and a heating system for our greenhouse, and that's being installed this summer as well, actually by our science teacher's husband, Claire DeLay's husband. He's volunteering hours to install all of that this summer. So more upgrades and updates to our greenhouse, and that continues to just be a great place for students to go and staff. Catherine put together some other things. Dr. Max Seiden, she wanted me to really highlight this, from Dartmouth College, is doing a hands-on egg drop experiment, which is kind of your classic egg drop experiment. But she's bringing in somebody from Dartmouth College, which is great. Some team building, problem solving, trip to Granite State escape rooms. And then their final trip is over the ropes course at Souhegan High School. And big shout out to all of our staff who are helping out this summer. Student open house days are scheduled for August 24th and August 27th. Obviously, everybody has seen the work that's going on when you pull in. There is a potential that we might have to be flexible or cancel one of those days, hopefully not both, just because things are being delivered around that time. But that is our plan, is our student open house days on those days. It's a great time for students to come in, walk their schedule, get to know the building, and just acclimate to a new building, especially our 7th graders and new students. A couple weeks ago, June 24th, the principals in the SAU 41, thanks to Gina's support and Dot's, we were able to attend the principals conference in Portsmouth. It was a really great event. Just really nice to connect with other principals across the state. I met with a middle school group that we plan to, I think the high school has a nice cohort that meets pretty regularly, and we're trying to do the same for middle school principals across the state. So networking was great, but there were some great sessions, and I stole this guy's mention about Chaz Miller, the CSDA principal. Him and his wife put on a really great presentation that I'm sure Jake will also highlight. Really nice job by them, so I wanted to give them a shout out. Lots going on, as I mentioned, in the building, summer facility and maintenance updates. Our crew does a great job getting the building all ready for the start of the school year, but they've also been hard at work with the companies here, HVAC renovations, roof repairs, lights. I don't know if you noticed, but these lights are all new. They're LED.
look at them.
And the light switches all look like that now instead of the old flip switch.
They're dimmable.
They are dimmable.
gonna say
You can
they
change
work.
colors.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's exciting.
pretty
The only
exciting.
thing missing are the labels.
So thanks to our crew for continuing to do a great job with our building. And then last week, we put together a active threat training with Blue Tier Tactical. SRO Trapani helped bring this gentleman in. His name was Joe. It was a really great training. It kind of made us all feel like we are doing a good job with regards to our safety protocols and responses and where we are in regards to, it sounds like, other schools in the state and country. We do reunification drills. One of our trainings at the principals conference was with a gentleman from Los Angeles who said there's less than 5% of schools in the country that have done a reunification drill, and we've all done one, so I feel like we're doing a pretty good job. Obviously, places we can continue to improve, but it was a nice kind of reminder that all the procedures that we have are strong, and we're doing a pretty good job. One part of the training was they brought in Secura blanks that we actually got to hear in the building, and a lot of us, that was a part that really resonated with us, because we all know most of us know what a gun sounds like outside of the building, but to hear it inside was very different, and really just kind of a nice part of that training.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I included some handbook updates. Not so nice, but the world we live in, so we've got to really prepare for it. And we're building in some things at the start of the school year for our teachers to really think about, walk through, and go through some of that part of the training that we did, and think about how to set up your classrooms. As much as we don't really want to, there are some strategies we took away from that training that we want to encourage our teachers to consider. And then I included updates to the handbook. I didn't include my handbook, but changed the name from student handbook to student parent handbook, student code of conduct with the expectations of possible responses that I think we already showed you guys last month. I added the policies, JIC, and the communication device one, which I don't have on mine because I printed it before I updated it. And then I added some language around non-academic related items in classrooms. A little disruptive at times during the year.
Great. Any questions for Patrick? First of all, thanks to Rick Hardy and the Garden Club and the Rotary, because I do also know that not only are they making the contributions, but I think they're coming over to water.
Yes,
Right.
there's a watering calendar that's
Yeah.
out there. I don't think I've shared it with you guys because it's
So.
filled up for the summer, but the community is helping water.
It really is a community project, and that's
Yes.
great. And thanks for all of your information on that. So like fidget items and things like that, or just are we
Yeah, we're-
banning those, or are we just like
We're creating a process for students to make sure that if they have a tool that they really need to be successful in the classroom, there's a process to make that happen.
makes perfect
We're
sense.
seeing more kind of stuffed animals come in.
emotional support animals?
Uh,
Stuffed animals.
ye-
Emotional support stuffed animals.
yes, and if a student really needs that, we're not saying no. We just
Need a
need to make
process.
sure that if it's a real need, it's documented, and not everybody can just have a toy in class because some of them get distracting.
I would imagine. Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay, I'm just going to be asking them all today. Okay. Thank you. And on to Jake.
I've included our NEAS collaborative conference report. So starting probably actually before I was hired, the process of writing the collaborative self-reflection started. So when I came on board July 1st of last year, the process had begun knowing our visit was in March. So we had a 2-day visit in March where I think 6 professionals from around our state in Massachusetts came and toured our school, talked with educators, students, and families about what we do and how we do it. The visit was a culmination of an 8-month process of self-evaluation, reflection by our amazing in-house NEASC team. Shout outs to Jen Staub, Lauren Gross, Tracy Lane, Heather Hamilton, Devin Photo, and Matt Portu. And so that report is attached there for your information. And now kind of the next steps is working with the team and the SAU to develop what they call this school improvement plan that kind of outlines the next 2+ years as they come back for their decennial visits to check on the progress we've made based upon the report. So I've started playing around with some stuff with that, and more information will come with that. There's a lot of curriculum work happening this summer at the high school, a lot of it related to the Ed 306 rules. The following departments are working on those specific things: English, social studies, and math. We also have some pockets of work happening due to some AP class changes and some new unified classes that we're working on. So just a lot of teachers doing a lot of curriculum work this summer for the high school. Again, thank you to Gina's support. I attended the principals conference, and there was a lot of great sessions. Again, I think the one that stood out the most was CSDA's principal Chaz Miller and his wife, Jen, who's an educator in Nashua. They presented on how to build culture through the use of systems and structures. I think a lot of times when you hear about like, oh, the school culture in the building, it's like the fun stuff and that sort of thing. And it is, but Chaz's presentation about, using the structures of your day and the systems within your building to really build those things was an approach that I haven't heard before. And just took a lot of great things from that. But I think the best thing was there was 5 principals from the SAE 41 that we got to spend a few days together talking about our district, talking about our buildings, and building camaraderie. So that was a really nice time. It's busy at the high school right now. We've got ESY from the middle school and the high school, so a couple different programs working. I want to give a shout out to our custodial staff. They are busting through things, getting classes ready for ESY, and then they're moving through the rest of the building very quickly. The 3rd floor, it's like spotless right now. The halls look great. I hate walking on them, but things are looking really good. And then on top of that, we've got work being done on the gym floor. They're installing flat panels in some of the classrooms, and there will be some roof work and solar panels work this summer as well. So a lot of different things going on at the high school. We had not wrapped up our updates for our student handbook by the time I submitted this, so you guys will get that report in August. And I did want to piggyback off the active threat training in the summer. It always seems weird to say that was a really good experience, but it is good. It's the thing that we never want to have to deal with, but going through the training, learning some different things, and knowing that we do a lot of the things that are recommended. This district is really progressive in that sort of thing. So thanks to Patrick for putting that together, and officers responded. Important dates. I mentioned in the athletics, 8/14 football practice, 8/17 the rest of fall sports, 9/2 is our freshman orientation, and 9/3 is our first day of school. No school on the 7th and 8th, picture day on the 11th, and then our open house is on the 24th. So far out there, but wanted to get some of those dates out there so that they are on people's minds.
They'll be here sooner than you
It
think.
unfortunately will. We're mid-July already today, so.
Are there any questions on the report, and then I'll ask about next?
I just had a quick comment or request if it's not objectable to anybody. I just was going to say I love having the dates, the upcoming dates, but for both, if there's a time that's known for it, like the open houses and things like that, it's great to like give the notice. And if you don't have the time, you don't have the time. But if we know the open house starts at 7 or it starts at 5:30, it would be super helpful.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
My scattered brain. So I put them in my, I sat here and put them all in my phone, but I don't know what time they are. So
All
that
day.
would be helpful. All day. I know I did. I just blocked like all day. But that would be awesome when possible.
Are there any other comments on the report itself? I guess the one thing I like to try to follow up with a commendation, and it sounds like from both of you, this is such a heavy lift for our custodians this time of year. I mean, they always have a heavy lift, but this time of year is when they're really, really getting buildings to shape. So we should just buy you some of those little things to put over your shoes. So you can walk through the building,
booties when I
like
walk
little
through the
booties, so
building,
when you
yes.
walk through, you don't mess up anything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, those aren't that expensive, a couple bucks, you know, just to make sure that we don't mess anything up. Okay. All right, thank you very much. So, in terms of the other piece of your report is the NASC report. So just to clarify, they come every 10 years, right?
So the cycle of their evaluations is a 10-year process, and throughout that process, you submit self-reflections. They come visit in year 7 or 8, depending on the
That's
cycle.
where we are
and that's
now,
where they-
right?
Yes, that's where we are
Okay.
now. So they'll come for the decennial, the 10-year visit in 2 years to check up on how things have progressed or have not since their previous visit.
So I read through the whole, I skimmed through a lot of it and read through the recommendations. Interestingly, they did give us a commendation on starting advisory, and I was a little annoyed by that. Like,
That too.
for years they were like, you guys need advisory, you guys need advisory. So we start advisory, and there's no like, yay, good job, you started advisory.
I think it was
Like they almost didn't accredit us.
yes.
Like,
Thank
like,
you for doing what
right.
we've been telling you to do
right,
for
like
years.
oh, so I guess it was like they didn't want.
But when
like,
they come
call
back
us
and
out
they'll
and, like,
see the 5-year growth of our advisory program, I'm sure that one of the accommodations will be what an amazing advisory program that you have, because you guys have done such a great job.
okay, but
Nice.
So in 2 years, we'll revisit this conversation. It'll be totally different.
okay, because I was like, I read through all the things and I was like, where's advisory? Like, we really did put a lot of effort into that. So,
And continue to do so.
I mean, that's like if your kid never makes their bed and then they start making their bed and you say nothing. Like, you should say, good job making your bed.
Education.
But is the making of the bed a requirement for living in the house? Because I think that's one of the differences.
Okay, so all kidding aside, are there any other, I mean, there's just a few, there didn't seem like there's a lot of things we need to work on. Clearly, they want us to redo Portrait of a Cavalier and.
It's a
focus
lot of the
on that.
things that we kind of self-reported that
Right.
we need to work on. Nothing came out of nowhere, so it's all work that we're excited to tackle and to move forward with. So it was a really great visit, and especially for being a first-year principal in the building, to get a lay of the land and now a nice road map for some work to come. It was good.
Are there any other comments or questions? Tom?
Saw one of the comments said that they were looking for or didn't see an adequate demonstration of moving the focus away from grading to learning. And I'm wondering how that feedback is being received.
By who?
Anyone.
I think that it's. I mean, when I was an English teacher, I always gave comments for an essay before I gave the grades back, and you had to sit down with me to hear the comments before you got the grade, because I didn't want it to be about the grade. Well, that's school sometimes. So trying to create learning environments within the building where the learning is at the forefront and the grade is what comes after that, I think is a goal that I would love to work forward towards. And I think that's about creating a learning environment where, it's the real world, hands-on, inquiry-based applications of the material and not just the rote memorization, that sort of thing. So I think that within a process of building really engaged student learning opportunities, that you move closer to that. Kids are kids. They want to know what their grade is. This grade's going to get me into this college, and I think that's a big societal thing and a post-secondary thing. But I think that we can try to create some opportunities within our building where the learning is the focus and the grade comes after.
What I was wondering is whether this is a subtle or maybe not so subtle push to move towards competency-based
yeah.
versus.
Isn't that a little bit part of the Ed 306 law too, to move to more competency based?
Yes.
It depends on when you. Well, sorry, I won't.
No, it's been we should have been doing it for the past 20 years.
Mhm.
But it's not something, I mean, I think our district is very traditional and it kind of hangs on to what we do, which is sort of evidence in the report. But in terms of that, like philosophical shift, we've tried to make some of that. I think the grading and assessment committee, my hope is that it revamps this year and picks up and we talk more about all of this, but we are in a grade conscious community where that is the focus. So you can't make a
It's
shift
going to be a
overnight.
push and pull.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a push and pull on
That's the
yeah.
point. Because I was wondering, is this a good, not trigger point, but jumping off point for the grading and assessment? Say,
I
look,
think that's a
we've got external input that says this is an area we should be moving into, and do we drive the change or wait to get pulled into it? And to me, this is unless we disagree with the intent, I think it's a good foundation from which we can promote and try and move in that direction rather than wait to get pulled.
Well, I think the other question we have to ask is, are we talking about building our courses and assessments off competencies, or are we talking about reporting scores with competencies?
So I don't know what we're talking about because I think that's what
Because
we
a
need to
lot of our
keep-
course and the work that we do are based off of competencies
right. So
already.
I feel like that's what we have to do is like pull together. We've said it multiple times, but we haven't actually appointed anyone to a subcommittee for grading and assessment. I think we need to formally restart that committee, appoint a couple of board members because board members are involved and get that going. I understand that's a lot of work, but it's really work that needs to be done, and then that committee gets to grapple with those questions. I know that was a big part of their conversations when they were going through it, and I know that we have having been where they would give some updates, we definitely have different views of how to do it, but I don't want to get into the weeds on that tonight. I think it's just time to get that going again, because A, Ed 306, B, NASC, we've got those two pieces. And then we've also seen and heard from, students and parents and families with concerns about how we grade and grades and that kind of thing. So I think it's important to get that started again, which is one more committee. Jake, there you go.
Actually, Patrick's really been talking about wanting to be in that committee.
The
lately,
point
so-
person on that? Yeah.
So I mean, I will always defer to
I don't
him.
know if he's joking or not.
That would be great because to a certain extent, you can be more objective about it
Yeah.
in the sense that you don't have to do the work of the outcome in the
Well, but
same
I
level.
think we'd have to move, we would
No, we
trickle it
do.
down.
I know,
like,
but I
yeah.
don't think that the impact will be as strong in the middle school, just because of the way that the teams function. I don't think the controversy and I don't think the shift is as dramatic as it will be in the high school.
Agreed.
Well, the other issue is honestly, the grades from middle school don't end up on a transcript that goes to college.
Right.
So you can have a more conversation about what a grade really means, what's the significance of it, how do we manage that? The problem when you get to the high school is that it almost becomes like a grade is like,
Identity.
yeah, a grade becomes like your salary, and so it's a different emotional feeling for students and for parents and even for teachers. So
And
I
we
think
should change to a vegetable-based grading system.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so that's what I took from, I took a little from that. Is there anybody else has anything from the NASC thing? I think it's great. It's a really great document to have to really give yourself some feedback. I like it. All right.
And Jake will be returning with his action plan.
Right.
Based
Great.
on that.
Thanks. We just every time you guys come, we just give you like lots of work to do. It's
great.
It's awesome. All right. Thank you very much.
And you know what happens when they leave the room?
Okay. So, so we're going to move on to discussion, right? We've got everything done for the principal's reports. So just so the board knows that this is on the agenda, every July, we generally this is the start of the budget process. So the administration is going to come. My understanding is department heads go to the administrators come to the SAU leadership. Everybody kind of puts in their needs and wants and requests and things like that, right? Is that sort of how it works?
Already started.
And then you and your team of everybody starts to go, yes, no, way, crazy. Oh, ha, ha. So as board members, is there any one who has some ideas about things that they would like to see happen as it relates to not just the budget, but also the goals of the district over the course of the next year? Maybe I should have sent an email so that I prepared you for that. Sorry, it was on the agenda. We do it every year, so you knew what it was, right?
I don't need the prompting to have all sorts of things.
Which is great.
So does anyone have anything that they've been thinking about? I actually don't have much. I mean, I think after this last couple of months, for me, my whole focus is on looking at some of the stuff that has come up in public input for the last 2 months, not just related to music, but also all of our arts and electives. I think that, to me, that is a big piece of what we as a board and as an administration have to kind of figure out at the high school. And honestly, the other thing I did think about was competency grading and some of the grade stuff, because we've received some emails from parents concerned about grades. So, Tom, I can tell you are chomping at the bit.
No, I'm not, but one thing that I would really like us to take seriously is the potential for, lack of a better word, course consolidation. I think the pendulum has swung to the point where the number of electives that we have dilutes our effectiveness in several disciplines. It impacts us not only in the ability to give for scheduling and some of the logistics things, but to give students a broad-based exposure in an area to things that they might not naturally seek. So, for instance, in English, in an English department, where there's so much specialization, and
he has a course from last
I was going to say, I realize that we've started that process, and I applaud that, but I think it's more widespread. I'm not looking to get into survey of blah, 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 but I do think that if we had fewer courses, it would provide benefit to our students. It would give the students more access to classes, because we would likely have more sections of fewer classes, and it would create more flexibility for staffing as well. Would it have an impact on budget? It depends on what happens with enrollment. I don't see that as the goal, but I don't see it being independent of that.
Any comments?
I agree with Tom. I think that the amount of electives and affect the scheduling, which affects what we've just ran into this year with not having enough students in some of the classes. So I think that the amount of electives is an issue. I mean, every kid wants to try something new, but that doesn't make it for a valuable class for them to go on to their future. So I think that we need to look at the amount of electives that we have.
And I think I remember a couple of years ago, our former principal talking about philosophy and the fact that, we had smaller numbers because we want kids to have options. And I don't think we're saying take away options from kids, but I think the example we've talked about is like, we have acting and we have improv and like theater, but like if you can combine all of that to one class where it's a drama class or a theater class where you're having some acting and some improv and some set design and some direction, teaching kids how to direct, then they get exposure to a whole bunch of things, and that option isn't eliminated. They have an acting theater option. It's just a broader option. And I agree with Tommy, we don't want like a survey of all literature, but kind of giving kids like, and that way more kids might want to take that class because some kids are afraid. 6:40. Thank you. So yeah, so I agree with Tom on that. I don't want to eliminate that we have departments and we have interests and we have, art, and music and all those things. But I want to fill those rooms with kids who are interested in those things. And sometimes the kid is afraid of improv, but they might take a theater class where there's a little bit of improv or a unit on improv. So I think that's an example that I thought of, in that. So, or you thought of it, actually, you've talked about it. So any other comments on that? Okay. So I think we're working towards that anyway, but I appreciate it. All
I
right.
think board goals, this has nothing to do with them, but I think we as a board have to continue our efforts to improve our communication and interaction with the public.
I think you're right. I think that's a really challenging thing because I don't know how to do it.
No, but
I mean, I tried with the whole music thing to answer, to do a little press with the Hollis Brookline online news and answer questions and, do that. I am starting a podcast with Krista Whalen. So,
Really?
Yep, we are. We're starting a podcast. And we'll be, yep, we are. I don't know when it's starting. We're working on it, but I just announced it. So we're starting a podcast and Krista and I are going to chat about things in Hollis. I'm probably turning red at the idea of it, but we're going to talk mostly about Hollis right now, but also about the co-op. So, yeah.
but lots of things that we've talked about, but creating dialogues that aren't around emergencies.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. So to figure that out, and maybe that's a conversation to have with Emmy, to try and figure out.
I think it's going to be us accepting the requirement to add to our schedule to maybe have once a quarter an open forum type thing that's not a board meeting per se. It doesn't have an agenda, that it's an opportunity for the public to come in and have a conversation. I don't know, but I think there are things that we can do, but if we relegate it to doing it within the confines of our meeting, it's really tough.
One thing I think that would be super helpful in terms of communication is we've been working really hard the last few years in the agenda building to put together presentations where you guys do a presentation. It would be great if we could create a series of just those presentations, so a person doesn't have to scroll through or try to find the entire meeting, but instead a special part of our YouTube channel, which is just presentations, so that you could easily access our presentation on test scores, our presentation on CAV block, our presentation on advisory, those things that are substantive curriculum, like those things that you could just then as a person and somehow just be able to go to a certain section of our website and click on presentations.
Yeah,
It would be,
these are all good ideas, but just following
That's a
the
push-pull.
as a goal, if we as a
Right.
board are setting a goal,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of creativity here,
yeah, we can try.
and
And I'll announce those presentations on my new podcast.
do you have a name yet?
Hollis Happenings.
Hollis Happening?
Yeah.
So it's not specifically school.
It's not specifically school. It's about Hollis. Hollis Happenings with Krista and Holly. That's what it's called. We'll be at Old Home Day. We have a booth.
It should be Hollis Happenings.
No, I can't
This
do
is
that,
the thing,
'cause
Krista needs to
Hollis
change her name.
Happening with Krista.
Holly's yeah, whatever. Emily's working on the logo for us, so we're getting there. So, all right. So, moving on. Town of Hollis Capital Expenditure Advisory Committee update. Rob is not here, but he sent an email, so I'm going to read it. Here's his brief update. Building on our experience from last year, the CEAC is working to initiate our review process earlier this cycle. We are currently gathering multi-year capital expense plans from the Hollis School District, the HB Co-op School District, and the Town of Hollis in preparation for our scheduled July 20th kickoff meeting. I am pleased to confirm that we've received the initial HB Co-op Capital Improvement Plan, CIP, and have begun the process of integrating this data into our 3-entity view. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the administration for their flexibility and cooperation in providing this information, which is essential to helping the committee meet its objectives. We look forward to receiving further CIP updates as they become available. That's all I have.
Does he have any insincere appreciation?
So
Not today.
please don't ask me questions because I can't answer them, but that's the update. Facilities Committee update.
Me or you?
You could go.
Well, we had a really valuable tour of the middle school project this month, earlier this week, and got some very good news about the progress and the things that are going on. A few surprises that were found as the building was opened up, but the net effect is that the work is proceeding, as far as we know, on plan, within budget, with the expectation that it will not have any negative impact on the opening of school.
Great.
Also, that the plan is moving forward for the installation of the rooftop solar on the high school. I think the only thing they're waiting for right now is batteries to be delivered.
They've been delivered.
Oh, they have been delivered? So it's going to, I think the work's going to start in the middle of August to put things, actually start putting them on the roof.
Yep, so the structures take a little bit of time to build, and then we're finalizing the roof as well because there was section 10 of 10. But yes, everything should be up on the roof, ready to go by August 28th with a connection to the battery, actually starting to collect the energy, if you will, by October.
Yeah, I think the full completion / implementation is expected in November, because there's, once they get it up and running, there's a lot of tuning to do with the system. But all things look good. The open question right now is just some of the logistics about applying for rebates and looking into that. But you can see the lights here. These are being put in areas throughout the building, and the the technology has been used in other buildings within the SAU. So we're fortunate that there has been some learning experience. One of the things that came up is they are programmable to be sensitive to movement, people in the room. And one of the things that was asked was possibly to start out conservatively using that, so that when the staff first arrives, they don't find that it's turning off unexpectedly. We can back it in once we know.
Mm-hmm.
But our friend Lance will have master control, so he'll be able to turn lights on and off at his will.
There we go. Great. Good for him. Good to know.
Good.
That'll be fun. Okay.
And he's getting ready for a new contract negotiation.
All right. Thank you so much. The budget committee was unable to meet last month because of lack of quorum. So
Is that 3 months in a row?
I
or
think
two?
it's 2 months in a row.
And then it will be 3 because
because
there's no
we're
July
not
meeting.
meeting.
So there's no July meeting.
Has that? So there was no.
There was
no
no.
attempt to push the meeting into August through lack. I haven't heard anything.
Not to my knowledge, but I wouldn't be included.
Okay. So moving on to deliberative items, we're going to, I need a motion. I think I mentioned, I sent an email out. Kate and Beth are both aware of, the commitment to the Visual and Performing Arts Committee, but would both like to be appointed. I talked to Beth today. I touched base with Kate, and we'll start with the two of them, and if there's some sort of an issue, we'll make a change. So
So I just want to make sure, the assumption I'm guessing is that board members will comply with a need to meet during the day.
After school is what we've been told by Jake, is that it'll be a 2:30 start time would be the
After
need.
2:30.
After 2:30.
Is this a volunteer participation for staff members or required participation?
I don't think I can require them to join a committee, but I
Well,
think that
the point is, if it's required participation, it's a paid position. If it's a voluntary position, if they volunteer to be on it, it is not a paid position.
I
And
think it would be quite beneficial to have a certain number of employees participate in the committee. So I do think we should allocate funds to support that.
that's why I was,
Yeah.
some of the other committees, we met during the school day so that it was paid and compensated without having additional budget impact.
And this isn't one meeting or two meetings. This is
I can't
like,
hear
oh,
you.
I'm sorry. It's not one or two quick, like this is intended to be a year long, basically. I mean, well,
Right. It's
you
a
know,
working
it's-
committee and
it's a working going
right.
committee. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah. It's not a little sacrifice.
so, I would question what the cost is gonna be of having it being outside the school day with compensated positions.
I was gonna have a candy bowl. I think that's
Is it,
super
does
helpful.
does it change if it's
Yes, keep it up there. If it's during the school day, it would not require compensation. If
Okay.
it's after school, it would.
I think it would be tough to get parents and students during the day.
It wasn't for the other one.
No, the other ones were after school.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, yeah.
Our compensation was, I mean, the grading wasn't, it was during the day, wasn't it?
It was during the school
Yeah,
day,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, and we had students in the outside committee.
Okay, so
Anyway,
here's what we're
so-
gonna do. We're gonna move forward with appointing Beth and Kate. We can have more, the administration can talk more about the structure of the committee. Just be clear that, as you're planning it, please loop those two board members in. If they can't do it because of availability, let me know as soon as possible so I can appoint another person.
Yeah, because it's not gonna work if we don't have,
Yeah.
we need to have board members at every meeting, and ideally, any given board member is there for at least 75% of the meetings, I
Yeah.
would say. Because what we find is that if not, then you don't get the board buy-in. You don't get, it becomes disconnected, and you have to redo all your work when all of a sudden you get input from the board that that's not what we wanted, or that's what we get. So it just self-destructs.
And in terms of requiring staff and paying for staff, I agree with Gina. I also think it's important to, like, obviously, it's the Visual and Performing Arts Committee. So we would, like, I would hope that you would have somebody from the Visual and Performing Arts Department on the committee. Like, that would be an important piece of that. So, yeah, I think that would be like a requirement of the committee to have somebody from that department. Whereas other members, may just want to be a part of it. So I
I
think
need to
there's a
go so far
distinction.
as to say you have to have somebody from visual and someone from performing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, there might be concerns about whether the representation was.
Yeah. So those are just
sufficient.
things to think about, but we have compensated committee members before. Especially if we really want individuals or certain departments to be represented. I don't want to say individuals, but more like departments. Okay, so that being said, I need a motion to approve the appointments of Kate Stroll and Beth Williams to the Visual and Performing Arts Department. Committee, sorry.
So moved.
Moved by Cindy,
Second.
second by Beth. All those
Discussion.
discussion.
Is there anything preventing you from having a third appointee?
I guess just me, but if the board would like to put a third person on there, that's fine with me. I do worry about the number of people on this committee, but we have had the other, like when I was on, you were on advisory, I think Beth, you were on grading and assessment, right? Cindy?
We were great.
Yeah,
You wanna-
I thought big ones, they work fine because it's not like a voting thing. It's, you get more input.
Is there a third person who wants to do it?
I thought you wanted to.
I would do it, but I'm also super available, so.
You want to do it? Do you want to do it?
No, that means, yeah,
If you're willing to do it,
So appoint me too. Put my name on that. So change the motion, please. Can we have to pull the motion? Or can we just amend the
We'll
motion?
amend the motion.
Amend the
Amend
motion to include Holly.
thank you.
You're welcome. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? 5-0.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's fine. I am available, so it does make it, see.
And passionate.
Yes, I am passionate. No, I am actually pretty passionate about this one. Okay. All right. So next, I don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to put it on the table. We'll talk about it. All right. So I need a motion to approve the foreign travel request submitted by the World Language Department for students to travel to northern Spain during the 2028 April break, expected to be April 20th, 2028 through April 28th, 2028.
So moved.
Moved by Beth. So I need a second.
second.
By Cindy.
You want to jump straight into discussion?
Any discussion?
I'll start.
Okay.
Looking at rationale for proposed trip to Spain document, this is the staff members. It says, no matter how much we try to create an authentic foreign environment, there's just no way to completely capture what it would be like to travel to these places that we study. The educational value of foreign travel is undeniable. Students with educational travel experience are more appealing to college admissions, and employers have higher average GPAs in college and typically obtain higher degrees. After travel, teachers report that students demonstrate increased tolerance and cultural awareness, increased willingness to learn and explore, and increased independence, self-esteem, and confidence. I have no dispute with what's being said here. What this tells me is that if we believe this experience is critical, we have to provide equal opportunity to it to all students. And at $5,000 per person, unless we're willing to participate in the funding of that as a school paid activity, I don't think there's equal access.
Any other comments?
I mean, that's exactly my concern and why I've kind of said, I don't know how I can, in good faith, support this with the cost behind it and not having equal access, because I've seen it firsthand really I don't know, I've seen some of the, I don't want to say side effect, like the outcomes of students that could not afford to go and wanted to.
So is there something that could change, that not us paying for it, but is there something in the process that could change that would, because so my concern is, and I understand the amount, I understand that this is expensive, but we've been approving these kinds of trips for many years and they've always been expensive. I mean, they've always been, they've changed, they've gotten higher because travel's gotten more expensive, but I believe in 2019 it was almost $4,000 to go to on the world history trip. So I know because my son went on that trip, and it was so something in the number has triggered this and this conversation has happened before. I will give Tom that credit, and you have brought this up before. What could be done? Because the idea of not having these trips or not having these opportunities, and I call them opportunities, for students who want to take advantage of this. Obviously, some students can afford to, but I don't want students who absolutely can't afford to not be able to go. So what needs to change to make this so that, because I know you two are going to vote no on this, and it might pass. I don't know how everyone else is going to vote. But then in the future, what could we do so that these could be something that you would vote yes on? Besides, I mean, you can throw it out. What could we do? I'm not going to say what you think.
I don't know. I think it's a really good question, but it's really tough to answer that. And I think sometimes it's the cost. You said the cost. It's really not the cost itself. It's the equal opportunity is my number one concern.
Right.
But the cost makes that.
But what
know.
you brought up last month was that there was a moment in the music trip or choir or whatever trip where there was like an expectation to write an essay to get
Oh, yeah.
a scholarship. Like
Yep.
that is absolutely inappropriate
Yep.
and that cannot continue to happen.
Yeah, that's-
Like a student has to prove financial need or financial hardship. Like need is one thing. That's like a student, the student lunch thing, but it's also hardship. For some families, they can afford to pay for food, but they can't afford this trip. So the student has to prove that, and they have to access some sort of help. It doesn't mean we would give them $5,000 towards it, but take some of the charge off of it. We do this with DC. There's a significant, pool of donated money that we use. So I understand that essay thing, but that can be procedurally changed, or that shouldn't happen. That's been procedurally changed. So
No, I appreciate that, and that is probably more some of the tipping points. Is that probably was for me, like when you're putting it on a student that they need to prove why they can't afford what their parents like. That's not right. That was really not okay. But then them missing out was really hard to witness too. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I also see the amount of money being spent, and trust me, I've lived all over the world. I've traveled all over the world. Like I 100% value like this, but it's so much money of like, what else can we do to enhance their experience while not spending that much money? So
but the
in the
families
local
want to
trips,
spend that money.
yeah, some do.
I mean,
Some-
I've had
yeah,
families say
yeah.
to me, I want to
Yeah.
do these trips because my family can't afford to go. I can't take
Sure.
everyone,
Yeah.
and I can send
Yeah.
my kid,
Yeah.
and my kid gets to have this experience, and I don't have to spend 4 times that to take
Sure.
the whole family.
Sure.
So I've had
Yeah.
that said
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
When people are like, I think it's a no-brainer. Like it's actually cheaper for me to send them,
Sure.
and then they get the independence, and they get the travel experience, and they get all of that. So that's the other side of that.
I have some thoughts on it. I don't know if they're practical. For a trip such as this specific, I could say, can we stay in North America? Maybe go to Mexico or something like that with someplace.
Maybe not Mexico.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't want my child to go to Mexico.
My son's in Mexico right now, and he's having a great time, and it's very inexpensive.
Right.
That people say that the United States is the most dangerous country on earth,
Yeah.
and us living here would not abide by that. So, but my point is, for instance, there was a big cost difference between when the French class went to Paris and when they went to Montreal. But I don't know that the experience was any less elevating to do so. The other thing is, we've got this dormant organization, HB Elevate, that is potentially
Dormant.
capable of raising significant amounts of money to help the school in areas where finance is an issue. Creating a travel fund, not a scholarship, but a fund
Yeah. For
that
those,
would be available to cover the expense of a trip annually of some sort for some defined group of students, and the staff could propose to access that fund for a trip. I mean, these are all ideas. I do think that, this is Mr. Bosbos's letter is a compelling one, and I don't dispute it. I value his everything in that, and it just emphasizes that if we support this type of activity, okay, let's add it to our FY28 goals. Let's find a way to fund this type of activity for our students and not ask the students' parents to fund it. Now, is it fundraising? Fundraising as an organization? That can always be part of it, but I think that the scope of this is beyond, candy bar sales and that sort of thing.
I do think the location. I mean, I hear you like on safety concern. But location does matter. We've talked about that even within the continental United States of like the cost of things. So that one's definitely something to consider. But I did want to just mention the one other thing that I think was an issue for me. I'm glad that the policy or like the procedures have been changed, but and I want to be careful how I say this. I don't think anybody was dishonest. I think when we've asked in the past, though, the answer has always been, "Don't worry, there's funds to help cover it." And I don't think that was like, again, not that was not meant to be deceiving. I don't believe, but it made, or the way I interpreted that is, don't worry, no student's going to be denied and they can't go. So I think just kind of making sure that there's more clarity and full disclosure in this.
It's a little
is
bit more
important.
transparent of a
More
process.
transparent, way more.
So I think that those are all good pieces of feedback. I mean, I think there might be a way to create some sort of a fund. I mean, I know we have that we have DC as sort of our example where we have a group of folks who make donations to that trip specifically, and there is it doesn't fund everybody, but there's a chunk of money for those kids who can't make the whole thing. And so maybe that is a great idea, and HB Elevates, I don't know how to restart that, and I don't want to, but I don't want to know. But
yeah.
but yeah, go ahead.
One other thing on that too, not just the location, but I think this trip is 9 days, which is amazing. And I don't think anybody should go to Spain for 2 days when it takes a day to get there, a day to come back. But 9 days is a long trip. So just like trying to really
Right,
look at the
reel it
cost,
in
like,
a little bit.
absolutely.
sure.
And have maybe,
But to that point, I think 9 days also excludes your spring athletes.
it does.
And so
it
then
runs into
if
school
you
time, it
reduce the
runs
number of students, then you're increasing the cost per student.
Okay. Well, potentially you could.
Potentially,
be,
right.
yeah.
So by maybe making it 7, maybe you have a few more participants and that
You could, and yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing too to keep in mind is that we are sort of restarting these trips after years of not really having them. And so the foreign language department, we're running into a little situation because it used to only be the foreign language department that did these trips, and then the visual performing arts music department did music related trips. Now we have world history who's doing their trip. So we have a lot of different trips going on, but the foreign language department did have sort of a system for a long time where it was like 1 year to Quebec, 1 year to Costa Rica, 1 year to Spain, 1 year to France. And so it was sort of that rotation. Wasn't it similar? I might have the rotation wrong.
I talked about it at the last meeting. It
Yeah.
was a Spain trip, a trip for France, then the world language was in there, and then there was the Ecuador trip if they were going to still continue
Right,
to do
right.
that.
And I think that they did a trip to Quebec. On the
Yeah,
off
and then
years.
they do. That's
Right.
the long weekend in February.
Right. So that was in some ways more like that equal access thing. So if you couldn't necessarily go to the week-long trip to France, you might be able to go to the long weekend to Quebec. And those things were offered within a 4-year period so that you had more opportunity, like an option as a kid. And like there was a trip to an island, which is usually a little bit cheaper than a trip to Europe. So I just think it's about kind of having a whole staff conversation about those kinds of things. And but anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I'm going to vote yes on it. I might be the only one, but
Oh, one last quick thought on that. The other thing I noticed, and it's more maybe the music department related, but if you're in a class and there's so much prep that goes into, I mean, these students are preparing to perform, and they're
Yeah.
like, but then these 3 kids don't get to go. So
I've had that struggle with the
That was-
music
but it's
classes
a-
forever because they say it's,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that they're not telling the truth, but it's outside of the curriculum supposedly,
Yeah.
but yet the entire group is going. That
And they
feels
spend
different
so much
because this is
class
like
time preparing
right. So
for
this is
it,
any
so,
Spanish student can
Yep.
go on this
Yep.
trip,
Yep.
anyone,
Yep.
and it's not part of the curriculum. It's a great learning experience, but it's
Right.
not the same as the music trip. So
It's
I
not,
do
and
struggle with
the
those.
emphasis could also be a little too much. If it is, I mean, I want this stuff to happen, but if there is a big focus on it in Spanish class or in French class, like
Right.
that can lead to people not
And
being
the experience
yeah,
I've
so
had with my kids who've gone on those trips or been around in classes was that it's not.
different.
It's more
I didn't
just like
I didn't
yeah,
figure it could be. I'm
it's
just
not.
throwing
It's
it out
usually
there
just
that it
like
could be.
don't
Yeah.
forget there's a
Yep.
French meeting after school. This kind of thing. It's not really mentioned. Whereas I do think in the music it becomes
it's
kind of all consuming.
it is all
So-
consuming is a good way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any more feedback on that? All right. That being said, I'm going to call the vote. All those in favor of the Spanish trip. We already put the motion on. The motion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Okay. Motion carries 3-2. But that's something that should get back to the staff because it's getting tighter. It's going to get tighter and tighter, and we need to have some conversation about that. All right. So, moving on to policy. We, I think we're on policy, right? Yeah. So we decided this month, not to do a memo because we only have 3 policies. So, the first policy that we have is policy IB.
IB, yeah.
Thank you, which I have to pull it up. So just give me 1 second. So, I guess I'll talk about this. Amy,
I'll chime in.
okay. So, we took the feedback from last month. We didn't agree with all the feedback from last month. We will talk a little bit about that, but first, just to look at the numbers, we went back to a maximum of 40 because we got that email from Mr. Barbosa kind of saying that he felt like this was a better number to keep it at 40 so that you can have 2 sections of 20 versus 2 sections of 15. You're not close to the minimum. And also just he made a very strong case for the academic reasons for having a larger band or larger choir class. So that's why we went back to 40. And we kept physical education the same because of the middle school. We decided we didn't want to have middle school numbers different from high school numbers. It's just too complicated. And middle school PE is married to music. So we wanted to make sure those numbers were the same. We addressed what Beth said in that we wanted to clarify that classes may have fewer than 12 students if the class is designed for students with IEPs, 504 plans, or other student service learning plans, i.e. remedial classes and special education classes. I think that addressed what your comment was, Beth. Like
It definitely addresses a chunk of it. I just don't know if that's leaving anything out. Like, is there anything that
That's why
our
we have
administrators can think of
other
like,
student service
Okay.
learning plans, because you could have a student who's not IEP'd, not 504, but might be struggling in an area that we
No,
want to
I-
put them in a class that's smaller.
Absolutely.
like
No,
a-
I caught that,
Right,
and that was
right.
perfect. I'm really glad that's there. But I
thought we
mean,
captured them all.
no, well, the only a class that's supposed to be, I think it came up, and I maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but like even just some like a guitar class or something, like you want a small class size.
So this
That's-
does not include
Yeah.
guitar. It does
Right.
not include music, and the music folks want us to include that, and we
Right.
talked about that
Yeah.
in policy.
Yeah.
And we feel pretty strongly that
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to elevate one elective class over others.
And
we
that's-
decided to make these exceptions to
Yeah.
be more based on legal requirements rather than options or electives or choices.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That
and we
was
talked
the-
about electives and looking at those today too. I mean,
Right.
but that's the clarity I was looking for.
Right.
Is like, are we I just wanted that.
Yeah,
out
we are
there.
not intending
Are
this
we
for like
intending
guitar.
to or not intending?
I mean, I appreciate the comment that the person said last
Mm-hmm.
month about the fact that a guitar class of 5 people is a great learning experience. However, and this is hard for me to say, we are a public school,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and a 5-person guitar class is that's a lot to ask for
Mm-hmm.
from a public school standpoint. And there are opportunities to take guitar classes outside of public school where you'll have a small group of people.
Right,
So-
and it's a want versus a need. But that's
Yeah.
why that was
Right.
what I was saying. So I think the language you put in there encompasses what
Okay.
we need to do. Yeah.
Okay, and then the other piece to all of this is a couple of things. So we took out the capstone series class. To be honest, you know, the principal and the superintendent as of now can make a decision to carry on the capstone class because the exceptions are still in there, but it doesn't make it so that a parent or a student reading this policy will say, well, you have to because the exception's in there, even though the exception says may have fewer folks reading it. And the same thing with the AP courses. We definitely got a little, you know, we definitely have some members of the policy committee that would like us to keep AP courses in there, but we took those out. So that's what we did. We kept this as an approval process by the superintendent or their designee. We've done some research on whether or not we have policies that board policies where the superintendent can make exceptions without it going to the board. So Amy can speak to that.
Yes, I looked quickly. I was able to find 3 policies that we have. Policy KH, public solicitation in schools. Policy KF, which is community use of school facilities. And then JICJ, unauthorized communication. And all of those allow for exceptions to be granted by either the superintendent or their designee without it coming to the board for approval.
So we did a little research because we knew we were going to get a little pushback. So we did that. The other thing is, I did a lot of research in what exists outside in the world, like what other schools are doing for policy IIB. First of all, it's not a required policy. It's recommended. Some schools don't even have it. Most of the policies that I was able to pull up don't even really address minimums or exceptions. It's really just the sample, even the sample policy is really just, especially at the high school level, and it's hard because some of the policies have, they're for an entire district K through, but at the co-op, at the middle school to high school level, most of them just have that we can't have more than 30, which is the ed specs rule, which is Ed 306, is it Ed 306 or the new New Hampshire Department of Education guidelines is 30, we should be a maximum of 30, right, in a classroom, and most of them are shooting for between 22 and 25 in a classroom. Some have a statement about labs and seats in labs and only having 24 students in labs. Most have, if there are exceptions, they can be made by the building principal or the superintendent, but there were 1 or 2 who made it go to the board as well. I have a whole list of them. A lot of schools don't even have the policy. Like Merrimack doesn't have the policy, Pelham doesn't, or I couldn't find it on their policy thing. Derry and Londonderry. So our concern with bringing it to the board is not necessarily the theoretical concern, but the logistical concern of how to do that. So that's where we are with reading 3. I believe we haven't put the thing on the table, but I don't think we're looking for adoption tonight because we thought we wouldn't have the whole board here. So we thought we would just do a 3rd read and bring it back for one last thing next month, especially because we knew we were going to be very clear that we were not going to be making a music or visual and performing arts exception. So we wanted to make sure it came back one more time. Any comments?
Sure.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for the consideration and the changes. I appreciate the effort. While I appreciate the research you've done, I think those 3 policies are very different than this in that they are external to instructional activities. I'm not going to make a stand on that. I still wish we could find a way for the board to be involved with our current administration. I have 0 concerns about the board being left out of the process, but I like policies to be written without specific individual being dependent on specific individuals in place. So I still feel that there should be some additional oversight from the board, but that's my opinion, and I'll just stick with it. I just want to clarify something that you said, Holly, that the building the building administrators can still make an exception for the capstone and AP, and the way it's written, the superintendent or designee would have to.
It should be the superintendent. Yes, the building administrator would have to bring that to the superintendent. Sorry, I misstated that.
Okay, and just for clarification, what I think that this does is it triggers the question of should we have that class this year? And I think that's important for the public to understand that if there aren't enough students enrolled and the decision is made not to hold that class, it isn't eliminating it from our curriculum.
Right.
It's not taking it out of the the course offerings. It just means maybe we wait till next year
Right.
and run it. So, but thank you, and I appreciate all the effort and the consideration put into this
tried.
work.
And I do think that's a really valid point. A lot of things that went on social media talking about us cutting classes is, you know, that we're not offering. They kept saying things like, we're not offering guitar. We're not offering. That was what was on social media. We offered it. We're just not running it. And there's a difference between us offering something and not running it, and us cutting a class or deciding to no longer offer it. So, yeah. Thank you for that clarification. It's not really bus policy, but okay. So I need a motion to,
I'm just curious why, you explained it a little bit, but is there a harm in adopting? Do you think that there are people on the board who will object to it?
I just felt like we weren't sure where we were going to go tonight, like
Yeah.
in terms of the conversation. And so we kept it as a third read. Without adoption, I haven't put the motion on. I could do third read and adopt. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I said is that last month we got a lot of feedback that people that in the community would like us to make a music exception, and we didn't really say we weren't going to do that last month, so we're saying that this month, really.
But they also didn't show up to talk
Okay,
about it. It
right.
was on the agenda.
Okay.
I'd rather not have to
Okay.
start this process again, have the same
So
conversation.
you'd like it to be a third and adopt?
Make the motion.
I would.
A
Okay.
motion, sir.
Um,
Motion hasn't been made yet, so
do you,
I need a
does Dawn
motion.
have a
Yeah, so I have a motion to, I need a motion to approve policy IIB class size, for third read, I need a motion to accept policy IIB class size for third read and adopt.
so moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Tom, seconded by Cindy. Any other comments or questions on that?
I think I'm the minority, but I don't like putting it as the final just because of all the feedback, and it takes time. Like people don't always know when to show up, where to show up, where they can't show up. I would have preferred, but it's fine. I mean,
That's
I'm
not
just going for-
that's not the reason I'm saying it.
no.
I'm saying
Oh.
it more because of
Oh, I
what
understand.
we've got lying ahead of us.
Yeah, no, I hear you and I appreciate it. I just
Yeah.
I think that this'll, if we didn't approve it, I think it would be a very quick one next month. But then I'd have the reassurance that the community had plenty of opportunities to have feedback. But that's just me. That's okay.
Okay.
I'm the only one, and that's
All right.
okay.
Well, then let's call the vote. All those in favor? And opposed? 4-1, motion carries. That one we can put to bed. That's lovely. Okay, next one is the,
JCA.
I know, I just can't find the motion, and I really need different glasses, I'm telling you right
You want
now.
mine? I don't think
No,
they're
I
really
just
good,
need
but-
different glasses. I didn't get progressives because I hate them, but I need progressives and I don't want them.
Get bifocals.
It is.
yeah.
That's what progressives are. They're right.
It's on page 8.
Thank you. I don't have the page number. So I need a motion to accept the second reading of policy JCA, change of school or assignment, best interest and manifest hardship as amended.
So moved.
Moved by Beth,
Second.
second by Cindy.
This is the second read, right?
Yeah, it's second read and I can't, do we make changes, Amy?
I think it was mostly grammatical. Yeah, there was nothing substantive in here. We just just cleaned up some of the language and made some grammatical changes, but there was nothing.
Are those changes indicated in any way?
They should be highlighted.
They should be, but
Yeah.
I'm not seeing them.
So basically, we went from superintendent or their designee. The designee was scratched. And then
Oh,
it says,
yeah.
for the purpose of this policy, the term superintendent refers to the superintendent or their designee.
Right, that's what we did, because it was getting really confusing. We had superintendent or their designee a bunch of times, so that's what we changed. But it looks like there's one other, or designee that probably needs to be removed later on, which is underneath procedures for best interest reassignments. We changed the definition of superintendent to include the designee. I think that's the piece that didn't happen, like taking out. I think what we talked about was putting it up there as the superintendent refers to superintendent or their designee, and then going through the whole document and taking out all the or their designees. And that's something that probably needs to still be done.
Yeah.
It's not exactly clean. And then I also think, Amy, didn't we talk a little bit about the italicizing? and
Yeah.
that some of that needed to be changed. So we have some more grammatical things to do, but nothing substantive.
Does this have any functional differences from what we currently do?
That's a really great question.
I
Are
mean,
there any
No.
major changes? No.
okay.
It's just like cleaning. I think it was just legal.
Was this triggered by any change in RSA? Or is it just due up for
I think it was just on the policy, Amy pulls it off of the policy.
Yeah, no, I think there was an update to the RSA. There was another bill just signed last week as well. Further amendments. I don't know if it'll need
I
a
think in the
policy
beginning
change, but
there was a,
no, there was.
I can't remember.
I think in the first reading there
let me-
was a change that had to do with what blew up.
We're out of time apparently.
So proposed changes have been reviewed by this was in the hands of legal counsel for a little
Yeah, I
while,
think
and
it's
they went
because
through
of
that.
the whole idea of things that you have to accept for hardship.
Yeah, and I think you asked,
Was that a electrical?
I don't see any smoke.
is she smoking? Is it?
She's not.
Is there smoke? Are we good? Are we still on?
That thing's
Okay.
old. So
Okay. It sounds like you asked if there were any changes to the two policies that are views with how we operate in the schools, and Lauren said no.
Yep.
So, all right. So, are there any other further questions on that one? Okay, this was for second read. So, all those in favor? Okay, 5-0. That carries. And then we have, I need a motion to accept the second reading of policy JICK, People Safety and Violence Prevention Bullying as amended.
So moved.
Moved by Beth,
Second.
second by Cindy. And
I believe this was the same.
it was the same
Just
thing. This
cleanup,
was reviewed by
nothing
legal
substantive.
counsel and brought up to date with any kind of laws. And the all of the changes were made last month. And so it's hard for us to know exactly what we changed last month. But this month we just changed to make sure that it was the Hollis and Brookline Cooperative School District. And I think this is
It shouldn't be and.
It shouldn't be and, yeah. We should take the and out. All right. Any other questions on this? All those in favor? Okay, 5-0. All right, so we are done with our agenda, I believe.
We have a non-public.
We do have a non-public. I do need a report out from the process observer.
We're through this one.
Yeah, so now we know who
This might be the
really
fastest
makes them-
meeting we've had in a
It
long
really
time.
drags them out.
Yeah, it's not you, Tom.
No.
And we had a nice conversation about NEAS, so that was nice that we know what's going on with that. That was a good meeting. Very good. Holly?
Great, thanks. It's actually, are we on, is it A or C? Is it both?
Both.
Okay, so we're gonna go into non-public, so I need a motion that the board by roll call go into non-public session pursuant to RSA 91-A:3, Part 2A, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, and C, to discuss a matter which if discussed in public would likely affect adversely the reputation of a person other than a member of the body or agency itself. I need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Beth. I need a second.
Second.
By Cindy. I need a roll call vote, starting with that.
Beth, aye.
Amy, I.
Cindy, aye.
Holly, aye.
Tom, I.
So we are 5-0, and we are going into non-public at 7:27,
7:27.
and we will adjourn after this. So we will adjourn out of the non-public. So we are off.